Hey, collective, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. Happy new moon in Pisces. I hope everything is going well for you. I hope it hasn't been too crazy, too chaotic during this new moon. Well, we're not at the peak of the Okay, perfect. We got audio, everything's in order. Yeah, we're not at the peak of the new moon quite yet, but definitely feeling the effects, the reverberations of the heightening emotions, some of the tension that's playing out, which we'll definitely dive into a little bit deeper. Welcome in. This is another episode. My name is Deborah, I should say, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness. And this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we are going to look at the energy of the new moon via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. This is our final new moon, or final new moon, sorry to be redundant, of the zodiac year. Pisces energy is very much connected to our spiritual sense of self. You know, it really is that embodiment of cycles, of nature, of the beginning, the end. It does connect us more with our intuition, what we sense, what we pick up in our life. And Mercury's in retrograde right now during this new moon as well. It will go direct on the 20th. We're also going to be going right into Aries season also on the 20th. So it's been interesting with these new moons at the tail end of the season, the Pisces season. I feel like it's given us an opportunity to really understand the energy, learn. Excuse me, I'm seeing that one of my lights is not lit. It's giving us an opportunity to really understand what the lessons are, or what we're supposed to see, what we're supposed to intuit around what's going on in our life. Mercury retrograde has put relationships, dynamics into focus, and there is a desire, a knee-jerk reaction to kind of buy into the fantasy, buy into the myth or the untruth that people's situations are peddling right now. That's why we're seeing some of that tension pop up. We'll talk a lot about this as we get into it. But I like to start off my readings with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. You can also drop comments below. I love to engage, interact. I don't want to get too personal, just as a heads up. We'll try to kind of keep it more in the collective perspective of things, but I definitely love the interaction, the community coming together, etc., sharing in our own experiences. So totally feel free to drop comments below. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in that realignment of self, your mind, body, soul. I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we are aligned in self, that's really where we're finding our happiness, tapping into our happiness, our abundance. We're able to manifest. We feel good. Life is good, that type of vibe. And I would love to help support that in whatever way for you. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. And hopefully my website will be up and running by the end of the month. That is the goal. So stay tuned. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Okay. Okay, let's get into it. Well, that's kind of how I feel like your energy is. I feel like what I'm picking up is like you might be really tired. Today was a very watery day, heightened water in the astrology. It will continue. The full moon is, or sorry, the new moon, excuse me, new moon Pisces. It will be this evening in about 2 hours. It will be at its peak and then into tomorrow, depending on where you're located. And usually we feel the energy of the moon cycle a few days leading up to, a few days after, etc. So whenever you find this reading, even if it's not on the full moon, it can totally be relevant. We'll be feeling the reverberations of this. So that's kind of what I'm hearing. Like, we're in Pisces season, soon to be done, yes, but there is just this heightening of emotions, of what is happening in our life, in our world, mental, emotional, physical. And it's hard not to feel a certain kind of way about some of the things, specifically the things that are harder to make peace with. Hey, I know, I totally feel you, Karen. So good to see you here tonight, girl. It's so bizarre. And I think a lot of this is she's saying tired. That's like an understatement. I think it's like, it's part of that Piscean energy, just where things also kind of feel like foggy, cloudy. You know, I was just saying this to someone today. Like, I just feel like I'm in like this dream state. It's like hard to wake up. But totally some of that watery effect that I'm talking about in the astrology. Again, we have just a lot of water placements. So, nourishment while we're waiting. I think we got this in our weekly reading. And I'm hearing specifically for this new moon, when you have downtime, taking care of yourself. The number of times I said to myself today, like, I'm so tired, and I could just like go do a 10-minute meditation and help boost my energy, do some breathing, whatever you find restorative that just gives you that extra pep in your step. And those are the things that we really need right now, especially in those spaces where we do have extra time. It's easy to fall into the like to get sucked into whatever's happening, right? Like whether it's we start thinking about something or, we're talking about it with a friend, getting feedback, etc. And then we kind of spiral into that fixation or that obsession. And it's more about shifting the focus to nurture yourself during this time. So, like you were saying, Karen, being exhausted, then like taking that extra time space for yourself when you can. I know that we all can, like, it's not that necessary. I know I can't do it all the time. I feel like I pack my days from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. And that is not, Maharishi Ayurveda is a huge proponent of activity and rest, and that our health and well being is based upon our quality of consciousness. Do we have that clarity of thought, of mind, of intuition? And if we don't, where could we maybe shift some of our wellness protocols, whether it's what we're feeding ourselves, how much sleep we're getting? Are we getting exercise? Are we being too vigorous? Can we like tone it down a little bit, be more nourishing to our soul, etc.? Because things are coming. I love this. There is abundance coming. And I'm feeling like, well, it's not even 100% true. I just feel like in this new moon, it again has this tendency where the negativity can steal the show. And it's not necessarily true. Yes, there are annoying components that we're dealing with. And a lot of this is that umbrella of illusion, lies, breadcrumbing, right? We talked about Black Moon Lilith, the North Node, places where we can buy into like the fantasy of what we authentically might want, but what might not authentically be the best for us. And as we're working through some of that, abundance is a 9 card. So we're almost at the finish line, which I like. I mean, that's also very representative of where we're at in the cycle. Getting out of our head, right? Get out of your head. Try not to be overly analytical. Like, I think there's a lot of nervous anticipation because I don't think I followed through on that. What I was picking up in the very beginning was like, yes, tired, exhaustion. But if something were to pop up that's so good, you would be up and running. You would be gunning for it. So you do kind of have this like waiting and watching energy during this new moon. New moons are good to set our intention. We're obviously closing out a cycle with it being in Pisces. And then as we're moving into Aries, Aries is the first house, house of self. So it gives us an opportunity during this new moon with all the emotional, heightened emotional components to sit here and say, like, what are my emotions telling me? What do I need to understand about the messages that I'm receiving? Why doesn't this feel comfortable for me? What can I give myself to provide a little bit more comfort and stability? And then when you do that, coming back to the drawing board and saying, okay, is this thing good for me? If this is the results that I'm getting, or if this is the energy that I'm receiving, is this where I need to be? And some of that is being overanalyzed. I think this is just kind of the nature of some of the stuff that we're going through, where it's harder to be appreciative maybe of the good stuff that's happening, because it's like I'm almost hearing it, it's like the big things or the things that we feel might be more pivotal or monumental in our life are not changing in the way that we want, and we have to just kind of make peace with what is. That's that message of Uranus in Taurus right now. It's still in Taurus, it's moving a little bit slow, but it's helping us re-regulate with this attract through the glow. I mean, especially if you believe in the law of attraction, manifestation, I think it's a legit thing. Quantum physics has proven it. Like attracts like. And what we put out, we can create goals, desires that we want to attain. But if we're constantly thinking this is never going to happen, or I'm not good enough, or I won't find the money, or the opportunity is not going to come my way, well, we're just going to get more of that. And I feel like what I'm seeing overarching energy is you're being shown how to work with your abundance. You're being shown what true abundance is in your life. And not just the financial component. We often equate those two. Yes, makes sense. We need money to live, etc. And I think that's a part of it. I think that's a part of what's coming for you, depending on what your goals are. Not everyone's end goal is money, so don't pick it up if it's not your vibe. But basically, what I'm trying to say is abundance is like living out of that energy is very holistic as well. It's not just that one piece of the pie. Abundance, I'm hearing it's like not only your finances in order, feeling stable, secure, but this is also in your relationships, the people you surround yourself with, the job, what you're doing day in and day out. Is it life-giving or is it draining? And I mean, I think that that's a question you've definitely been answering for yourself and making changes accordingly. But as you do, and as there are some of those things that seem to be lagging behind, that's where we can get overly critical. Hypercritical is what I'm hearing. surrender to receive, having a really hard time. Like, I think you're putting a lot of responsibility on yourself. And I'm hearing this is like, it's not just you. I think this is a responsibility that people have put on you, or this is something that you've learned. Like, I have to do all these things. A little bit of perfectionism is what I'm picking up. Like, you feel like you have to do all these things in order to be worthy of X, Y, and Z. And it always leaves you in this place of like, continuing to like get better and better and better, which is great because that is evolution, but can be counterintuitive when we're feeling this level of satisfaction, when we're feeling this level of gratitude for the abundance that is in our life. I'm also hearing this is about like slowing down, giving yourself a little bit more love and care in your day to day. Like, you can enjoy things, right? And that's part of the nourishment too. Yes, I mean, I think health and wellness is great and blah, 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 but sometimes like we just have to have some good food or some skanky food, something that's well, actually, Ayurveda has this saying called okay, satmya. Sorry. Okay, satmya. And it's essentially this idea that, if specifically, like, if there's something we're nostalgic for that might not be the healthiest for us, but it's something our physiology has grown accustomed to, it actually can be something very nourishing for our heart. I know we were a huge coffee family. My dad gave us coffee growing up, and I love coffee like badly. But I've learned to find my balance, but I've also learned that like sometimes it is just really good for my soul and nourishing, and I don't need to go overboard. I can have balance in all things, but still enjoying those things that really do just kind of bring that nostalgia or that warmness, that love, gratitude, appreciation to our heart. You're still in the process of healing with the star Aquarian energy. I'm hearing like you're still sorting things out for yourself, and specifically like who you are, and I think even how you want to show up, and that's maybe why you're in this overly refining mode, because you want to make sure that you're being very intentional or very specific about how you are showing up for yourself, for your world, how you're integrating with that. Seven of coins, of course, I'm not surprised. Waiting energy, fruits of our labor. Like, this is like waiting for things to be harvested. And again, magician, just confirming what I'm saying. You're continuing to plug away. You're continuing to work hard. But I think that this is like the disconnect. It's like, feeling that like because you're not seeing certain things manifest, that it's somehow your fault, your responsibility. And I think we're seeing that a lot with, well, Chiron is tensely aspected to the fortune point. So is Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter and Venus are definitely heavily correlated with our abundance, our wealth, the way that we enjoy life, the beauty, the way we beautify things, etc. And so when that's not in alignment with the fortune point, or when there is tension, we can have a false sense of what that is. And I would say this is like the superficial versus the authentic, right? Remembering that, and I'm not, again, not projecting this onto anybody, but remember that like abundance isn't just how many dollars you have in your bank account or in your pocket or whatever, because there's more to come. And I think that what's coming is more, it's not even, it's just like a stronger foundation. You're more secure and strong in yourself, and it's also in better alignment with you. Like, these are actually things that you want to be doing, not things that you're begrudgingly doing or doing out of the fear that this is the only thing you're going to get, right? The only chance, the only opportunity. And that's where we're getting tricked a little bit. We see a lot of tension with Venus a little bit with Jupiter, like I was saying. So those places that we might be afraid things are never going to come through. And here's the thing, they haven't in the past. I think there is some residual past energy either still lingering around or getting projected onto you because you're afraid that, like, it looks like you're afraid like the work that you've done is not going to pan out. Again, where you're getting stuck in your head a little bit too much. Mercury's also still in retrograde, only for a few more days, but you know, that always brings up complications. I think you're intimidating people a little bit. You have the King of Wands in your blocked energy. You could also have someone actively trying to intimidate you. But this also just feels like you are taking the energy you have and you're doing the best to utilize it to its fullest potential, right? Like you're not letting anything hang in the balance. But there's, again, I think that that's just where some of that exhaustion is coming into play because you can relax. And I'm reminded how beneficial rest, relaxation, anything that allows us to quiet ourselves, etc., how beneficial that can be. I love to go doot all the time, right? But when I'm exhausted, it becomes counterproductive to try to continue to force myself. And actually, I was just listening to this thing talking about how our brain functions in 90-minute cycles, just like we have our sleep cycles during the evening. During the day, we have these 90 minutes. So our brain can last for about 60 to 75 minutes, and then we need like a 15-minute break. So do intense work for that 60, 75 minutes, and then, go out and stretch, take a walk, do some breathing, yoga poses, asanas, etc. That kind of thing, so that you have a little bit more work-life balance, whatever that looks like to you. Because as much as like there are things that are happening during this new moon that are annoying, I don't think that those things are gone per se, but they don't have to be on center stage. It doesn't have to be the main focus. And for whatever reason, I think you're afraid of that. Like you're afraid of what's not working. Again, I don't mean to be too redundant. But you're also not giving your time to things that won't work. I think actually, and the King of Cups or King of Wands might have come up in our collective reading today as well. He likes to be in control. He likes to be the head honcho, so to speak. But basically, this message was like, just because that feels nice, it doesn't mean that you have to do that for every situation. Sometimes we can let certain things lie. And it looks like you're doing that. I think you're learning your boundaries, you're understanding your boundaries a little bit through this new moon. You're also seeing what's yours and what's someone else's, because it looks like, okay, I don't know why that keeps falling. Someone wants more time. Someone wants more time and they know that they don't have it. They don't have it, but they're also not ready. And this Eight of Swords is really tripping them up. Eight of Swords is when our mental is limiting ourselves. And this is in your environment right now. I don't think you're rejecting this thing. I think you've been down this road before. It looks like this is a situation that you're not necessarily interested in revisiting. It's not like you're closing a door, though. You're keeping a door open, but you're also regulating how much of your time and energy you give. Because that's what I love about your energy. You're an opportunist right now, not in a bad way, not taking advantage, but you're willing to see what comes your way. And then, given whatever the communication is, you're going to figure out, is this worth my time, right? Is this where I want to be putting energy? 8 of Cups. Getting rid of that toxicity. I like it though. Honestly, I can't really hate on this energy. Whomever, whatever you're kind of dealing with or is lingering in your environment doesn't like it so much. But they don't like it because they're being forced to grow up, is what I see. They're being forced to mature. And I think that's a little bit harder, or they're afraid of the repercussions, consequences of what that actually means. This could be someone who's used to doing things in a certain way, and you're actually challenging them to change their dynamic. And it's forcing them to rethink. And again, I don't see this person's situation losing hope with you, but it also looks like whatever is being challenged within them is going to make it really hard for them to grow up, level up, be better, whatever that umbrella is. Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense because they're operating as the Knave of Wands, which is the Page of Wands. This is baby energy. Baby energy who just, it's like it's easier to piece out of a situation. It's easier to avoid a situation than it is to actually rein it in. Kind of the Chariot is all about balancing opposing forces, or recognizing that in life there's always going to be tension and frustration. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. There's going to be things that are beneficial and things that are not. And sometimes, whether we want to or not, we have to deal with the mucky stuff. And that's I feel like this 100% for this new moon. It's like, yeah, there's some really annoying things, but they're more annoying on our ego level. If we were actually open to and receptive to change, to being in the flow, right? To actually being in harmony with nature, natural law, then it wouldn't seem so scary. And I don't necessarily see you being the one who's afraid. I see you doing your own thing. I see you getting stronger, better. I see you're maybe even like a little bit too good right now. A little too hypercritical or pushing yourself to the extreme. Give yourself a break. Take some time out, whatever that looks like. Have some fun. I think you do need to have some fun. That's one thing that the Knave of Wands, Page of Wands knows how to do. This guy knows how to party. No, but he's always interested in exploring new territory, new things. He likes to have a good time, etc. So it might be good to just kind of change up your energy if you get the opportunity, especially moving into the weekend. Maybe you'll plan something exciting and fun for yourself. Because again, what you have going on, you got your shit in order. And if anything, like I said, it's almost a little bit too much in order, but in a good way. I don't think I had to clarify anything. Let me know if you guys want anything clarified. Otherwise, I'm going to close it out. I feel like we've gotten what we needed to get. Okay, deep reflection. Through deep reflection, profound intuitive insights emerge. I feel like you've done a lot of deep reflection. I feel like you're coming out of this time. I think that there might be something around this that still feels very enticing because, again, you want to make sure that you are on the top of your game, but it looks like you are. Like I said, the block right now is surrendering, relaxing, giving yourself some love, some care. I can't, it makes me so sad. This poor little otter with that single tear falling down his face. It's just like, and he doesn't look sad per se, but it's like, don't ignore some of the heaviness, is what I'm hearing, right? And Piscean energy really gives us an opportunity. I didn't really touch on this a whole lot. There's always so much I could say. I could probably talk for hours. Not that you would want to keep. No, I'm joking, but Pisces season gives us an opportunity to kind of look at those deeper layers, those parts of our spirituality, whatever that is, our integrity, our morality, those places where we really do ascribe to be better versions, grow into better versions of ourselves. And when we do that, we are actually cleansing our consciousness. We're purifying, we're aligning with our soul. That's how Ayurveda looks at it. And health, well-being go hand in hand with what we think, what we feel, with what our spiritual connections are, etc. Not that you have to be a guru. It's not about that. It's not about some spiritual ladder to climb. I kind of hate that BS. But it's more about like your connection with self, spirit, universe, God, however you understand it, and how that shows up in your daily living. Ayurveda has behavioral rasayanas, which essentially they're just practices that we can ascribe to just be better people, you know? Don't get it, like, don't speak hateful words, you know, be nonviolent, things that respect elders, things that, you know, whether we like the quote unquote rule or not, they do have a benefit and they do honor life. They bring a certain level of sacrament, which, you know, I think we could definitely use in modern day. That's my own opinion. Side note. I hope it's not offensive. All right. So sensory awareness. This makes a lot of sense too with being in Pisces season. Heighten your sensory awareness. It supports your intuitive flow. That's also why it's incredibly important to take some time out for ourselves, because it keeps connection with self very strong. And we can pick things up through our 5, 6 senses, however that resonates for you. But the main foundational point is we have to be connected. And we can usually easily do this, even if we do feel disconnected in this moment from ourselves. We can easily do this through quiet time, prayer, meditation, whatever that looks like for you. And remember, it's not just intuition, right? It's all senses. It might be something we smell, or, you know, a memory that flashes into our mind, or a remembrance of how something felt, how, like, the touch, whatever. We might hear a song, I don't know. Intuitive insights. Okay, so you are receiving powerful intuitive insights, follow them. So that's just really rounding out, closing out exactly what I was saying, right? This is a lot about getting out of your head, relying so much on the mental analyzation, the scrutinization to get you to the next place. Yes, it's working. You're doing a great job. But now it's also about like connecting back to that sensory awareness, to your intuition, because that is essentially what's helping you attract in this new beginning or this transition in your life, whatever you're currently going after, whatever you're trying to manifest right now. This is also going to help via as you nourish yourself, right? As you nourish yourself, as you support yourself on a deeper level, especially in your downtime, changing up how you're showing up for yourself in those moments. I think I might have already said that earlier, but the King of Wands can maybe not listen to himself, I think would be a good way. You know, he might easily disconnect or disengage, using that fire energy to push ahead. And believe me, we'll get enough of that in Aries season. So if anything, right now is time to just rest, nurture your soul, take care of your heart, surrender, allow other people to do things for you. You don't have to let like toxic people in, but you can let people who are actually good and who are actually supportive. Or maybe it's just about saying no to some things that you really don't have to do. Like you could do, but maybe it's just not the right time right now. Giving yourself a little more time and space that you need so that you can adjust to this abundance, right? So you can kind of get used to what this new leveling up is looking like for you. All right. I think that's good. I think that's what I got. I hope you enjoyed this. Happy new moon in Pisces. I hope it's not too emotional. Just remember, it's good to feel our feels. It's very important. Um Sitting with the uncomfortable emotions, I understand is not fun. It gives us an opportunity to process them though, and then release them. And I think that that's the most important. That's the baseline. We don't want to be holding on to these things, and we definitely shove them into our physical body and they start manifesting as disease. And we get these spaces of a little bit of downtime, or you can relax. You can just relax in your achievements and what you've done to date. Give yourself a pat on the back, slow down a little bit. It's going to help you feel a little bit better. I can feel that like nervous anxiety, you're ready to go. It's gonna come. Like I said, Aries season right around the corner, 2 days. And then things are gonna start picking up. So, definitely save your energy. I was gonna store your energy, right? Make your energy reserves. Take care of your heart, your mind, your soul, especially when things do come up that feel a little bit overwhelming. You got this. Just allow yourself to do what you need to do to really just honor your heart, honor your healing, honor your evolution. Thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I always love to hear or just connect, share in a little love, TLC, say hey, etc. I really love the community and so appreciate all the love and support that you send my way. Know it blesses my heart. I'm sending love and blessings back to you always. Have a fabulous evening.